All right, I got this story I want to share with you about my mom. My mom was the type of mom growing up in the neighborhood that everybody on the block, around the corner, knew who my brother and I knew our names, first name basis. They knew us. She was the type of mom, if we weren't in sight, if she jumped out on the front porch, it was time to come eat or it was time to come in, she would scream out, "Marcel, Eric." She was that type of mom. It was real embarrassing. Everybody knew us. Everybody would mimic my mom. It was really embarrassing. Now, I'm going back today to the 1980s. Like, I'm talking 87, 88, maybe 89. And back then, everybody in the neighborhood didn't have the luxury of having a cordless phone. So we was one of those families. But my mom, she had one of those long cords, all right? One of those long cords. Now, she had this rule when we were riding our bikes that we couldn't go past certain light poles on the block. Now, the older kids, they could go all over the neighborhood. They'd be in other zip codes, even the younger kids. So it was really frustrating that I couldn't ride my bike past the light rail. So this one particular day, I catch my mom on the porch. She's watching us ride our bikes, and the phone rings. And it happened to be a long distance call. So y'all know I'm talking the 80s. It happened to be a long distance call. So my mom had one of those phones where it had to be connected to the wall, but she also had a long cord. Now, we had 3 levels at our house at the time, and during the evening time when she had work to do, she'd be up in the study, and she had a long cord doing her work from her bedroom to the attic. Now, during the daytime, that's when we're outside. This is summertime. So we're outside, the phone rings, it happened to be a long distance call. It was a girlfriend from down in Texas. I remembered that my mom didn't take the long phone cord out of the attic and attach it to the phone in the living room. All right. So I knew when that phone rung, and depending on who was who she was having a conversation with, I knew that I might have had some time to go past the light pole. Right. So come to find out, she was on the phone in the house. She didn't come back out the house. So I knew I had time. Now, the reason why I wanted to go past this light pole, it was a alley that all the kids in the community used to ride their bikes through, their skateboards through, their scooters through. It was called Snake Alley. It was a notorious alley in the Ashburton community. And all I knew at the time is that the alley was somewhere near former Mayor Kirk Smoke's house. I knew it was in the vicinity, but I never saw it. I just heard about it. And kids used to laugh at me and make fun. You can't go past the light pole. Even the small kids, they'd be like, I'm younger than you. I can't go past the light pole. So this day, I worked up the guts and I rode my bike past the light pole towards the mayor's house. So I get down to the mayor's house. I can't find Snake Alley. I'm frustrated. I can't find Snake Alley. So I hear like these kids laughing. It was teenagers. They was laughing, screaming, hollering. It was music playing. And it happened to be coming from the direction of the mayor's house. All right. So I'm riding my bike towards the mayor's house, and the music gets louder and louder. And I hear splashing because everybody in the city of Baltimore knew the mayor had a nice house at the time, and he had a swimming pool in the back. So I rode my bike. I had one of those Huffy, beautiful bike. I had a Huffy, white wheels, white rims. I think it was called like an Insignia or something like that. So I rode my bike up to the privacy fence of the mayor's house. All right. And I had, I would say not an aha moment, but I had a moment. Somebody actually called me the N-word for the first time in my life. Now, if you know me growing up, you know, I couldn't listen to certain rap music. My mom didn't let us pass the light pole. They tried to shelter us really from the culture as much as possible. But I ended up getting well entrenched into the culture later on in life. But anyway, I rolled my bike up to this privacy fence and I crack open the fence. And it's teenagers, you know, older kids around the same age as some of the kids in my neighborhood. So I crack open the fence and they're running around throwing water bottles at each other. Now, I'm thinking back in the day, I'm a 9-10-year-old kid. The mayor's really rich. You know, he has an in-ground swimming pool. It was a paddle boat in the pool, okay? This is the biggest property on our street, right? So I'm watching these kids. I hear the music blasting, and then this guy, I remember this clear as day. He had no shirt on. He had a high top fade, and he had like a gold chain. and he pops open the privacy fence that I was peeking through. He pops open the privacy fence and says, "What's up, little nigga? You trying to come in here?" And it shocked me. Because I never heard that word. My mom and dad, they always said never use that word and never use a curse word. It's like 88, 89. So as soon as he says this, it like shocked me. But the way he said it wasn't like a mean way that I was taught. Like I was taught never to say that word because of the history of the word. It was like this welcoming. It was like this welcoming tone in his voice. And it was shocking. And when he said it, though, at that time, it scared me. And I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get back down the street to my mom, right? So I remember that day like it was yesterday. I rode my bike back down the block. And my mom, she's out on the porch. I could hear her, Marcel, Marcel. So I had to ride around the corner, cut through some yards to act like I was playing in somebody's backyard. So I get back to my mom. I told her I was in somebody's backyard. I didn't hear her. And I ended up, I didn't get in trouble that day, right? But she was the type of mom, yeah, got the spankings, got the beatings, you know, the belt. That came out, the belt came out on a regular basis for me. Everybody knew that in the neighborhood. But long story short, that was Tupac Shakur. That was Tupac Shakur. I was reading, and it's crazy how your mind works. I was reading a book. Called Back in the Day about the life of Tupac Shakur. And it talked about Tupac Shakur traveling to a community called Ashburton to take part in activities and functions at Mayor Kirk Smokehouse. And I had an aha moment, and I remembered, this is 88, 89. Tupac wasn't even with Digital Underground, I don't think. I didn't know of him. But I just wanted to share that story on my birthday, folks. I've been trying to hold it back, but I said, look, gotta share it. But hey, it is what it is. Oh, by the way, nigga, back when Tupac was saying it, he had a meaning for it. It stood for never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. I'm gonna leave you with that. Take care.